Hey everybody, welcome on in to the third episode of the My Life series. Excuse me. Um, Today we'll discuss like my more of my childhood, and maybe we'll get into my Jersey years. Um, so a huge um a huge core memory for me was going down the shore, like essentially every weekend I was with my dad, or most weekends I was with my dad. We would go down the shore in the spring and the summer. We'd go down to a little beach town called Brigantine, New Jersey, and every March for like the first few years of my life, they would have um they would have the Atlantic 10 tournament um on Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. Um, and at the time, um, Temple basketball was in the Atlantic 10 conference, and why that's important is my dad went um, my dad went to Temple for college, and so did my mom. So did my uncle Sean. Well, my uncle Sean went to St. Joe's for undergrad, but he went to Temple for law school, and I think my aunt Meg went to Temple for undergrad as well. And yeah, so we were always big Temple Temple sports fans. Um, so around like 2000, 2010, 2009, 2010, um, we went to the Atlantic 10 tournament, and I I saw Temple play Rhode Island, and they actually won that game, and Temple actually beat Rhode Island to go to the championship game, and the conference tournament championship game, and then um and then during the game I saw this big 6 foot five something guy, I like hit a mid range, a three, and dunk, I think, all in like succession. His name was Louis Guzman. And I remember he was at the free throw line. I was like, oh my god, I have a new favorite player. And then this is kind of where that story gets crazy. Um, so um, After the game's over, Temple beats Rhode Island. Um, and then some representative from some person working the game was like Luis Guzman um is like right down on the like next to the court signing autographs. Do you want to meet him? And at this point, as like a I don't even remember, like as a maybe a 7 or 8 year old kid, I was like, yeah. Um, and then what's crazy is like I met Lewis. He was just a real like cool person, and this was actually the game to get them into the semifinals of the Atlantic 10 tournament. And then so that day he signed my shirt, um and then I was like, oh, thank you so much, and then the next day, I forget who they played to go into the conference championship. They won the semifinal game on Saturday. Um, but when I met him again, like when I saw him again after, or actually before we get to that, getting back to Friday's game, which was the Rhode Island game. Um, we, um, we actually head to the parking lot and we actually meet the Temple cheerleaders, and they were hot tamales. Let me just say that. They were good looking college girls. So I told them I told them Louis Guzman signed my shirt, and they're like, really? That's awesome. Um, and then so we talked with them for like 10 minutes, and I'm like, and then they're about to leave, and then my my like 9 or 10-year-old self was like, you were the sexy cheerleaders, and one of the cheerleaders shouted back, I heard that. That was funny. And then the next day, I forget who Temple played, but they won, and they were going to the conference championship. And then when I met Lewis again, I was like, "You're coming to the championship! Let's go! Fire me up!" But yeah, that was so much fun. What else? What else? What else? Um, I I was really just I was really able to really appreciate all these like really cool experiences that not a lot of people were able to have, and just having that perspective of like of me being one of the lucky ones, to let to have a disability but still have like a fully capable mind to like really like comprehend how cool these things are. It's really really special. And one of the things one of the things I really just appreciated about like the last few years in Philly is I was kind of able to really really just grow and kind of change as a person, and change for the better. I was able to really like develop more emotionally, and in some cases spiritually. Like so sometimes like I would get frustrated with myself if I wasn't doing well in school or like physical therapy. I'd like I'd try to I would like I'd kind of proverbially like beat myself up because I always I always held myself to the highest standard possible, and I still do today. Um, but when I was younger, like when I was in elementary and middle school, it was bad, and um, I've gotten better with it now because I know like you can't expect to be to just be perfect at everything all the time, and I always grappled with wanting to be perfect, but also knowing that perfection a lot of times is unattainable. Um, so so whenever I would get frustrated with myself, my my dad would always ask me like, did you do your best at did you do your best at the task that you wanted to do? And I would I would really think about it, and my answer was most often yes. And because like I would really like I would really I I would always try to put max effort into everything that I did, and when you put max effort into something and you don't exactly get the result you want, it's certainly frustrating, and I would again, just because I would expect so much of myself. But anyway, like I had as I grew, I started to really appreciate the um the support system around me. Um and just how like how supportive they all were, but also they weren't afraid to push me. And I think that's what humans need in life from their support system. They need people who will support them, but will also not be afraid to push them when they need it. And I certainly have had I certainly have had that, and like um and and I'm grateful for it. Let me actually kind of give like a little bit of a speed run of the next like couple of years or so. Um, so my dad he had like an off and on girlfriend for 5 years. She was just a great person, and um, she's she's unfortunately no longer with us, but she treated me and Tommy like like gold. She just loved both of us so much, and yeah, it's it was really sad when I found out that we were all really sad when I found out that she passed away. Um, but anyway, then after like two in 2000, like late 2012, my dad meets meets this girl is who has like a horse farm, and is very she's very like big on like the treatment of animals. And for reference, I don't know if I mentioned this in my other two, I actually went to Pegasus, which is like a horseback riding place, to to help my hips, um, because that's where my cerebral palsy mainly resides. So, I mean, Dawn having a horse farm, it just felt like, oh my god, this is gonna be perfect. Like I like the girl my dad's gonna marry has horses already. She like she has two stepdaughters, so Tommy and I will have two new siblings. Needless to say, that didn't necessarily work out, um, because of just some other stuff. Um, but yeah, like when I moved to Jersey, or when we moved to Jersey, I was really excited, and I threw myself. I was fully just I was ready to like embrace both Taylor and Gia as my two stepsisters, but um they weren't exactly ready to embrace me. And obviously, well, Gia took it. She actually took it a step further. She actually out and out bullied me when we went to middle school together. from fifth to, or at least from fifth to sixth grade, it was pretty horrible. And for a long time, like I there was always a part of me that would worry, like, would would like would people, if I go to a new school, like, bully me or whatever. And um luckily not. And I actually forgave Gio when we had a good relationship. So it's in the past. I suppose I shouldn't worry about it. But again, this is what you guys kind of signed up for those that tune into the My Life series. But yeah, but the lesson that I learned from Dawn and that whole experience, like the whole first year in Jersey kind of experience, was don't be so um ready to trust people. Like, you really don't know what they're capable, not what they're capable of, but you don't know what's like hiding inside them, you know what I mean? And yeah, I just it was a really, really transformative experience. So I'm not quite sure where to go from here, or where to go from there. But anyway, uh, I we we moved to Jersey. I spent the rest of fifth grade, all of sixth, and all of seventh in Upper Pittsgrove. Um, So yeah, like those were cool years. I was on I For the first time I actually went to school with my brother. I actually went to school with Tommy. And I was on the um I was I was on the basketball team in sixth and seventh grade. Um and well, Tommy was on the seventh and eighth grade basketball teams. Um because he was actually held back a year um just just kind of because I forget what the reason was. But anyway, those years were really fun. And obviously I was gonna miss Philly. But I I would I would grow to realize that, like, it was always kind of gonna be a part of me, even though I wasn't gonna be there. Um, and that's really one of the lessons I took from those first couple years in Jersey. Um, we'll dive more into that maybe in the next episode. But I actually need to post this and then get ready to go to school. So, as always, thank you guys for listening to this. And this is My Life.